of the issues that are going on today are not one-tenth of what happened under the Jonathan administration, where the same President Tinubu called for his resignation. He said the buck stops at the president table. This calls him to question the capacity of Jonathan to govern or to protect the lives of citizens. Look at President Tinubu. We thought immediately he took power, he would teach Jonathan how it should be done. This is where we are today, where the governor of the home state of the vice president is declaring prayer and fasting for terrorists. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum, having spent billions in servicing terrorists and in trying to see how they can get peace deals. In 2025, the governor of a state is declaring fasting and prayer. Maybe they should also involve NSPPD. They can also involve any other experience. They can also attend to see how they can get people, to handle this issue of insecurity. Since it is not spiritual, that does not exist. Because part of the problem will be even the National Office of the National Security Advisor. For the first time in a country, it seems that the president outsourced issues of insecurity to the Office of National Security Advisor, and the president is more interested in politicking. I'm wondering why a state of emergency was declared in Rivers State, and up till today there is no state of emergency in any part of the north. And what qualifies this person to be Minister for Defense? This person we call Minister for Defense, Minister for State Defense. Bello Matawale, he's the former governor of Zamfara State. The Minister for Defense is Mohammed Abubakar Badaru, the former governor of Jigawa State. What in their backgrounds give them the capacity to lead these ministries, especially at a time like this? I mean, this particular person who is, Minister for State Defense had his state almost overrun by terrorists as a governor. It was part of why he failed hopelessly in being re-elected into the state house as a governor. And the president shopped around. And when you ask, they will say, oh, they have had ministers of defense who were military persons, but it did not make a difference. Then the question will be, so if you have tried many doctors and it did not work, so you should probably employ a carpenter. So that is where Nigeria is. So if you look at the body language of the president, the question will be, does the president understand the implication of security to the well-being of the nation? That is the primary responsibility of every government to protect life and property. Look at the kind of security and the kind of pomp and circumstance that the Minister of Defense, who is going to a state where children were abducted, this is what our public office. So we spend money, government will create a problem, pretend to be solving the problem, and in that pretense in solving the problem, even use more of taxpayer money for their own good. So across board, it is just a show of recklessness and irresponsibility. And the painful part or the unfortunate part is Nigerians or innocent lives are paying for these decisions or inactions. The National Assembly is the institution that has the principal right to oversight. But unfortunately, the current 10th National Assembly has been converted into an APC town hall, where you see when the president goes to present his budget, the person who leads the chant upon their mandate they shall fall is the Senate leadership. So you see an institution that is supposed to, when the Senate president came at first, he was brandishing the cap that carried the insignia of the president, the executive arm of government. It was when there was public outcry, they had to pretend to take it out. And when the president came, and guess what was the president's response? You all are re-elected. That was what the president said. A group of persons who have a country that is in extreme and multi-dimensional poverty, where sovereignty is shared between commander-in-chief and terrorists. And you see lawmakers sitting down, interested in more of partying. If this government has invested the time they used in politicking, trying to put every governor or politician into turning Nigeria to a one-party state, if the president and the government invested half of that time into security, they would have done better. And what is that? The only capacity this National Assembly have is to be money point assembly, to approve loans without inquiry, approve loans without any commensurate investigation. I think the only place that National Assembly have not approved loans for this government is money point and Pampi. Because those, when they borrow from, like you borrow from fair money, you clear Kuda. That is what they have the capacity to do. And it's unfortunate. If Nigerians want anything to change, it must become a citizens' movement and a citizen demand. Nigerians, this is an opportunity for everybody that is well-meaning to come together and mobilize. First of all, to know that we need to put pressure to solve the current issue. And by 2027, to liberate ourselves. Because as it is today now, the APC is not just bad government, it is an affliction.
Now, Peter,